Hello, welcome to another episode of My 2 Cent. My name is Paul Emerson, and I'll be giving you my 2 cent. So I'm going to read through this, and then I'm going to let ChatGPT explain the data. This is the first step into converting the Runday into a actual scientific discipline. So these are the numbers that I generated and created because it's difficult to get ChatGPT to focus the way I need it to. And yeah, so I'm gonna just it's probably gonna take about 20, maybe 30 minutes to go through all this data. The chat's over here. If you have any questions, you can respond. I've been running 100. I've been running 2 miles every 3 days. I started running 4 miles every 3 days for the last 2 years, training to be for 100K. My goal is to build a scientific discipline to teach how to apply the principles of science to your day-to-day life. I have my own standard units of measurements. One, the microcent inch, which is base 10 for centimeters. So the standard unit is 1/10 of a microcent inch. There's a base 10 clock, which is 10 hours for one day. There's a base 10 calendar, which is 10 months in a year, and there's also a base 10 circle or a base 10 compass, which is 10 degrees in a circle instead of the 360 degrees. Those units are going to be what I'm going to use to start doing actual science. So I'm training for 100K this June. The way I'm building endurance is by running 2 miles every 3 days and 6 miles every 12 days. And every 9 days, I will also do 60-second sprints and 120 walks. These are the values I found that I will be using to gauge my runs. Daily diary, journal, planner. This is part of my 2 cent system. The average run time for a 62 mile is 11 hours for a 43-year-old male. The average run time for 100K is 8 minutes. I'm sorry, 8 hours, 8 hours, 35 minutes and 27 seconds for a 43-year-old male. I divided, well, this is the average. So it's 62.13 miles is 100 kilometers. So these two times are different, even though the distances are the same, which is weird. But I just went with it. I think these are different because they treat the 100K as being less than the 62 mile. So they feel like the average 100K time, since it's shorter than miles, should be faster. And probably the people that run 100K versus people that run 62 miles have a different mindset, which gives you different run times. This feels longer, but this and this are the exact same distance. So 8 hours and 30 minutes to 11 hours is the general average runtime window for a 60-year-old male. My goal is to be within this window, regardless of what the time is. If I'm within this window, then I will consider my training successful. Right now, I'm outside the window. This is what the data is going to show. We need to take 11 hours and times it by 60 to get minutes, 660 minutes, then 660 times 60 to get seconds, 39,600 seconds, divided by 62 to give us our average time for our run. So 10 minutes and 10 minutes and 10 minutes and 39 seconds, because it says minute, that's why I was confused. 10 minutes and 39 seconds or 639 seconds per mile. And then for the 100K, it's 6 minutes and 36 seconds or 396 seconds per kilometer. Those are the times that I need to average per mile or per kilometer to be within the standard. So 8 hours and 30 minutes, we need to times that by 8 hours and 30 minutes, we need to times 8 hours by 60, then add 30, 510, then times 510 by 60 to get 3,600 seconds. Divided by 62 equals 8 minutes. This is for, also, I think these were for times for the 62 mile. And then this is the times for the 100K. No. Okay. This is for the 11 hour. We need to take 11 hours. This is for the 8 hours and 30 minutes. This is the average time to be within 8 hours and 30 minutes. So we have to do the math, and then we divide 62 by 8 minutes, and we divide 62 to get 8 minutes and 8 minutes and 14 seconds. This unit is in minutes, but I can't say 8 minutes and 14 minutes. It's 8 minutes and 14 seconds, or a total of 494 seconds. And then this is for the 100K. We divide this value, these two values up here, by 100 to get 5 minutes and 6 seconds or 306 seconds. What I'm saying with this, because it's not very clear, is that my average time, my average 1 kilometer, my average 62 mile should be 8 minutes and 14 seconds, or my average kilometer should be my average mile, my average 1 mile should be 8 minutes and 14 seconds, or my average 1 mile should be 5 minutes and 6 seconds to make this 8 hour and 30 minute 100K window. And up here, my average 1 mile should be 10 minutes and 39 seconds, or my average 1 kilometer should be 6 minutes and 36 seconds to make it within 11 hours. That's what these times are saying. So the data that I gave to ChatGPT are my actual runs. I did a 51K run on the 1st of January. That's what this information is here. I'm tracking this information with the Samsung Watch and the Samsung Galaxy Ring, and I'm using the Samsung Fitness app. So this is the Samsung Fitness app data. So you can see it here. This is how the data is. It took 5 hours and 54 minutes for me to run 22.05 miles on January 1st. And then the times were broken up into 2 times because I stopped in between. So this is what ChatGPT has to say for the first data set.
Got it. I can read your Jan 1st, 2026 long run clearly from the screenshots. Here's the clean diary journal planning extraction plus the math. Diary, past record, Jan 1st, 2026. Distance 22.05 miles, 35.49 kilometers. Workout duration, moving time, 5:54:23. Total duration, elapsed 7/11/08. Paused stop time, 16:45, 7:54:23. Average pace moving, 16:04, matches your app. Equivalent, about 10 class kilometers, about 9:15 to 10 kilometers. Average speed, 3.7 miles per hour, matches. Average GHR, 140
Heart rate.
max 1 in 75. Cadence 1 in 22 SPM, max 165. Elevation gain 48 feet. Steps 43,470. Calories 3,325. Total pacing drift, important endurance signal. Your mile splits show a big slowdown. Miles 1 to 5 av G, 13, 1, 20, 20, 20, 21, 1. That's not bad. It's just
19
data.
to 21.
Fatigue plus fueling plus pacing strategy plus stops. Stops all show up here. Journal, present interpretation, what this run implies. 1. You already proved time on feet durability. 6 hours moving, 7+ hours elapsed. That's ultra relevant. 2. Your system needs a pacing rule. You started much faster than you finished. For a 100K, you usually want the opposite. Start easier, finish steadier. 3. Stops matter. You had 22% overhead, elapsed versus moving. That's normal on long training days, but on race day, it directly changes finish time. Planning. Future prediction using this run as a baseline. If you held the same moving pace, 16.4 miles for a full 100K, by its 100K, 62.137 miles, moving time estimate, 62.137 times 1604. If you had the same stop overhead ratio as this run, Apollo 1.216 times elapsed versus moving, minus 100K elapsed time estimate with similar stops with 20 to 15. So right now, based on this single long run data point, your today baseline 100K window is roughly 1640, moving to 2015 elapsed with stops. Hair bonus, what this means for your standard workouts. If you ran your 2 mile, 6 mile at the same easy pace as this long run, 2 mile, 32.8, 6 mile, try 136.24. Your actual 2 mile is likely faster than this, but this gives a consistent endurance pace anchor. If you want me to start building your prediction table, plan versus actual, the way you asked earlier, send 1 your last 3 2 mile run times, date plus time, and 2 your next scheduled run day, 2 6 mile sprint walk day. Then I'll output prediction, time window for the next run, actual once you report it, error, seconds and cents, a rolling trend line, getting faster, stable fatigue.
So that was the first data set. Now, if you remember, I said at the very beginning, my time has to be 10. We'll just focus on the mile, right? the 62 mile, it needs to be 10 minutes and 10 minutes and 39 seconds, right? My average 1 mile currently is my average 1 mile was 10 minutes and 30. It needs to be 10 minutes, 37 seconds. It was actually 21 minutes and 15 seconds. I need to bring that down by about 50%, which is about what I felt was going on with my own data collection. This is the second part of the 1 mile. Wait, that's 22. So this one would be the second part of the 1 mile. This is the other part of it. 9 miles and 67, 9.67 miles. And then this one, I went to Burger King and I hopped in my car, so it might say that there's a GPS spike. Yeah, so I think it says right there. So
Got it. This is another Jan 1st, 2026 session, separate from the 22.05 mile one. I'll extract it cleanly and do the same diary, journal, planning math. Past record, Jan 1st, 2026. Distance 9.67 miles, 15.56 kilometers. Workout duration, moving time, total duration elapsed. Total duration elapsed, 3:36 stop time. Paused, stop time, 1 minutes, 21:49. Av pace moving, 4.39 miles, equivalent 9.06/kilometer. Av GHR, 122
heart rate.
BPM, max 59. Cadence, 102 SPM, max 159. Elevation gain, 173. Calories, 2,088. Steps, 14,592. Overhead ratio moving, 1.53 text. Meaning for every 1 hour moving, you had 5.53 hours pause stop. Journal what this run is. 1. Intensity was easier than your 22-mile session. 22.5 mile run. Av GHR 140, 9.67 mile run. HHR 126. That's a meaningful drop. This looks like an easier aerobic day overall. 2. Your lap list includes impossible miles. You have mile splits showing 932, 5, 519, and 3 for 1.00 miles. That's not physically consistent with the rest of the run and the average pace. So it's almost certainly a GPS spike, an auto pause, resume artifact, or the watch recorded movement while you were not actually running.
That's what it was.
So,
The watch recorded movement while I was not
distance,
actually
moving
running.
time, AVG pace, HR are still useful, but those specific mile splits aren't trustworthy for performance evaluation. Planning 100K projection using this run's moving pace. If you held 4039 miles for a full 100K, 62.137 miles. 100K moving time estimate, 62.137, 1439, 18. If race day had the same stop ratio as this session, 1.53 Ks. 100K elapsed time estimate with similar stops, 23 to 14. That elapsed estimate is only about stops. For a real 100K, you'd aim to reduce stop time dramatically with a fueling aid plan. Quick comparison, your 2 Jan FERC runs, 22.05 miles, 64 or 140 BPM, big time on feet day. Mass 937 at 126 BPM, faster plus easier HR. That combo is actually nice. It shows you can do a long grind and you can move quicker at lower HR on another outing. If you want, I can now start your plan versus actual table with these 2 runs as your first entries, and we'll add each 2-mile, 6-mile session going forward.
So then after that, I explained to ChatGPT, my January 1st, 26 runs was my attempt at 100K. I did not complete 100K, but the runs are the same run with a 30-minute time break between them. So once I gave it that information, it updated the data that I gave it to it and outputted a better correlated response, which is this response.
Perfect. That changes how we log it. We should treat this as one 100K attempt split into 2 activity files with a 30-minute break between them. Here's the combined records using the numbers visible in your screenshots. Hat diary, Jan 1st, 2026, 100K attempt combined. Segment A, 22.5 miles, moving, 5:54:20 elapsed.
5 hours,
Average
54
pace,
minutes.
16.44 my AVG HR, 140 BPM. Break, you said, 30 minutes. Segment B, 9.67 miles, moving, 221.49, elapsed 3:36:15, pace 4.39, AVG 126 BPM. Combined Combined distance, 22.05 plus 9.67, 31.72 miles. In kilometer, 31.72 to 1.60934, 51.04 kilometer 4. So you completed 51% of 100K, about half. Combined moving time, 5.249 equals 8:16. Combined elapsed time, as recorded by the watch files, 7:36:58 equals 10:48:06. Estimated total elapsed, including your stated break, 10:48:030 equals 11:08:06.
And I don't know how there's a 2 hour
Planning
drift between
what
those
your
two.
attempt implies for a full 100K. Using your moving pace from the combined effort, your
That's
bump.
not good.
Your combined moving pace, 31.72 miles, 8:16:12 equals 29,772 seconds. Pace of 29,707, 31.72 equals 938.9 s miles, equal 15:39 miles. Project that to 100K, 62.137 miles. 62.187, 15:39, 16 for its 12 moving time, roughly, using your stop overhead behavior from the attempt. From the 2 files alone, moving, 8 elapsed files, 10:48:6. Overhead inside the files, add your break, plus 0:13. Total overhead for the day, 301:54. That means your day was roughly 73% moving, 27% not moving, stops, break. If that same ratio happened over a full 100K, moving 16:12, total elapsed would land around 22 hours. That's not a prediction of your ability as much as a prediction of logistics. Stopping time dominates. NAS Journal, what to learn from this attempt. 1. Huge win. You held 8+ hours of moving time and covered 51 kilometers. That's real ultra training, not theory. 2. Main limiter wasn't speed. It was continuity. Your overhead time is the biggest lever to improve finish time. 3. Next experiment to run. Keep the same easy pace, but reduce stopping with a simple rule. Walk 1 minute every 10 minutes, or similar from the start. Plan fueling schedule. Limit stops to a fixed time of x 2 to 3 minutes. Hash. One clean way to log this in your system so it stays scientific. Event, Jan 1st, 2026, 100K attempt, incomplete. Result, 51.04 kilometers by 151%. Moving time, total elapsed. Quash key variable to improve. Stop time, overhead. If you tell me what your actual break duration was, exact minutes, and whether you ate, drank during the
Those aren't necessary. I just want to get through all of the recorded data points so I can start the next run.
Got it. This set is your 2-mile run on Sun, Jan 4th, 2026, and it's perfect for your 2 miles every 3.
Each one of these is just, I run every 3 days. So each one of these is just the next 3rd day run in ChatGPT's interpretation of the data.
Got it. This set is your 2-mile run on Sun, Jan 4th, 2026, and it's perfect for your 2 miles every 3 days baseline. Diary, past record, Sun, Jan 4th, 2026. Distance, 2-point workout duration moving, 27.5. Total duration elapsed, 27.18. Stop time, 13. Av pace, 13:31. Av speed, 4 mile per hour. Max 8.8 mile per hour. Av heart rate, 137 BPM. Max 172. Av cadence, 136 SPM. Max 167. Elevation gain, 19 feet. Steps, 3,686. Calories, 309. Quick math checks. 270 for over 2.0 miles, 13.32 miles. Your watch rounds to 13.31. Close enough. Normal rounding. GPS smooth. Pace per kilometer equivalent. 13.31 miles, 8.824 core. Journal. What this run implies. Your HR 137 average G is close to your long run HR 148 G, but at a much faster pace than your 22-mile pace. Cadence 136 SPM is notably higher than the long run cadence 122 SPM, which fits shorter run equals quicker turnover. Planning prediction for your next 2-mile run. Using only this single 2-mile data point and assuming similar route conditions, a realistic prediction window is next 2.00 meters predicted time, 26:30 to 28:15. Same effort, normal variation center, hash. If you want a goal band, not a prediction, sub 27 attempt, 26:59. Comfortable endurance pace, 27:30 to 28:30. Your plan versus actual table, starting now, Jan 4th, 2026, 2.0 miles, Plan, baseline, 27:45. Actual, 27:05. Error versus 27:50 minus 0:10, 10 seconds faster. If you post the next run screenshot, your next 2 mile day, I'll update the table and tighten the prediction model from one data point to a rolling average plus trend.
So ChatGPT is predicting my run for my next 2 mile based on all of the averages of the 100K. The 100K run is going to obviously be longer because of the total duration of the run, and the average time slopes down as I get tired. So since ChatGPT is using those data points as these average downtrending times, it's projecting a unusually abnormally longer run for my 2 mile, which is why I have to focus on this number. I have to focus on being under, not that one, this one. I have to focus being under 10 minutes and 39. 10 minutes and 39 seconds is what I need to be under consistently, closer to this unrealistic. Well, it's not really unrealistic. It's just the 100K. The 100K time down here is what I need to be closer to. But there's no way for me to be close to that. A five. Let's see. Let me do the conversion real quick. 5 minutes for 1K is a 5 minute 0.0621 mile. I guess I am pretty close to that. I'm pretty close to that as a 1 mile, as a 1 kilometer. So it's not as unrealistic of a goal as I thought it would be. My 1 mile is about 6.5 minutes. And so 5 minutes for 0.62 miles for 5 minutes is not, I'm not that far off from that. So what would be the next one? The next one would be, we are 1, 2, this is the 4th, January 4th. So the next one's going to be this one, the 7th. So this is the next set of data, and it's going to keep building the data together.
Locked in. This is your next 2 mile entry, Wed Jan 7 through Jan 8, 2026. You got faster. Hash diary, DAT, pass record, Wed Jan 7, 2026. Distance, workout duration, moving 24:49. Total duration elapsed 25 times 0:30. Average pace 12:50 made 4.8 max 7.3 miles. Calories 322, total 323. Steps 3,683. Average HR 141 BPM, max 168. Av cadence 148 SB7. Elevation gain 29 feet flat. Shaft lap detail from your screenshot. Mile 1 of a 32, mile 2 of 51. Extra 0.03 miles and 20 follow-up is applied. Compared to your Jan 4 run. Jan 4, 2 miles and 27:05, 30.31, HR 137, cadence 136. Jan 7 8, 2.02 miles and 24:49, HR 141, cadence 148. So you ran 2.16 faster, while HR only went up 4 BPM and cadence increased a lot. That's a strong efficiency plus turnover signal. Planning, normalize it to an exact 2.00 mile for apples to apples. Your run was 2.02 mile. Convert to an equivalent 2.00 mile time. Pace 12:15 mile equals 735 seconds. 2.00 mile time. 735 times 2 equals 470 seconds equals 24:30. So your 2 mile equivalent here is about 24:30. Short versus actual table updated. Run 1, Jan 4, 2026. Distance 2.00 mile, actual 27:05. Run 2, Jan 7A, 2026. Distance 2.02 mile, actual 24:49. 2.0 mile equivalent to 24:30 change. 2 mile equivalent. Managed 27:05, 2:35 faster, 9.5% improvement. 1. Next prediction. Your next 2 mile, 3 days later. Based on the last 2 runs, a reasonable prediction window is predicted 2.0 mile time, 24:25:20. Center estimate, 24:45. You improve sharply. The next one usually stabilizes rather than repeating a huge jump. If you want, send a screenshot for your next 2 mile or your next 6 mile when it happens. And I'll keep extending the table with prediction
And that's what this is. This is the next run, January 10th. Every so far this year, every 3 days, I've successfully ran 2 miles. And after I do this, I'm gonna run again.
Yep, this is your next 2 mile class run, Sat Jan 10th, 2026. And it's another big jump forward. Attached diary, Sat Jan 2026. Distance 1.98 miles. Workout duration moving 22:01. Total duration elapsed 22:01. No stoppage recorded. Av pace 11:0 HR 136 BPM max 157. Av G cadence 50 TM max 168. Av speed 5.4 meters per hour max 7.5 moves per hour. Elevation gain 29 feet. Steps 3,352 calories 309. Lap view from your screenshot, mile 1, 10:08, 1.00 mile. Mile 2, 11:53, 0.98 mile. Pace shown 12:5 mile for that segment. Journal what this implies. This is the most important part. You ran faster than Jan 7/8, but your AVG-HR dropped. Jan 7/8, 12/5 mile, HR 141, cadence 148. Jan 10, 11:06 mid-mile, HR 136, cadence 152. That's a strong signal of improving aerobic efficiency or easier conditions, better recovery, and the higher cadence fits the speed gain. Now here planning, normalized to an exact 2.0 miles. You ran 1.98 me in 22:01. Convert to a 2.01 mile equivalent time. Scale factor equals 2.00, 1.98 equals 1.1111, 22 equal 41 sec. About 30 zones 101, tools 334 sec. 22 2.0 mile equivalent, dot 22 414. Plan versus actual table updated. Date, distance, time moving 2.0 mile equivalent. AVG Papeland, AVG Pace, AVG HR Kato. Jan 4 25, 27:05, 27:0 13:31 mile, 137, 136. Jan 7 8, 2.02, 24, 24, 430, 1250 mean, 141, 148. Jan 10th, 1.998, yield 11:06 mile, 136, 152. Trend 2.0 monomile equivalent. 27.5 and 24:30, 22 to 14. That's 4:51 faster from Jan 4 to Jan 10. That prediction check from last time. I predicted your next 2.0 mile at 24:10, 25:20. Center torch north 24 to 45. You hit 22 feet 14, which is 156 faster than my best case bound. So your improvement rate is accelerating faster than a simple rolling model expects, likely because early runs were still recovering from your massive Jan Work Ultra attempt. Next prediction, your next 2 mile run. Now that you've got 3 data points, I'll give 2 prediction modes. A, repeatable prediction, most likely. 2 or mile, 22 to 23, 2035. B, if you push prediction, performance attempt, 2.0 mile, 21:15 to 22:15. If you want the science to stay tight.
And then this is the next 2 mile. So every 3 days, I've been successfully running 2 miles. And this is the next data set that ChatGPT has evaluated for me and updated the chart to show my progress toward training for 100K.
Log, this is your next 2 mile run. 2 Jan 13, 2026. Hash diary, pass record, 2 Jan 13, 2026. Distance, 2.01 my workout duration moving, 23:30. Total duration elapsed, 23:39. Stop time, average pace, 11 to 14, average speed, 5.1 minutes per hour. Calories, 301 to 12. Steps, 3,514. Average HR, 133 BPM, max 162. Average cadence, 149 SPM, max 163. Elevation gain, 29 fast. Mile 1, 10:19. Mile 2, 12:56. Extra, 0.01 mile minus 0.14 rollover. Add journal, what this implies. Compared to Jan 10, your fastest. Jan 10, 5.00 is equivalent 22:14. HR 136, cadence 152. Jan 13, 23:30. HR 133, cadence 149. So you were 116 slower, but also lower HR. That usually means this one was closer to an easy, moderate training run, not a push day, or conditions like wind, cold, legs. Also, you're showing a consistent pattern. Fast first mile, then a big fade on mile 2. Jan 13, 10-9, 12:56. That's a pacing lever we can tighten. Have prediction check from last time. I predicted for the next 2 miles. 22, 23:15. Center tool 22:35. You ran 2330, which is plus 0 to 15 slower than my upper bound. Still close and consistent with this being a more relaxed effort.
So this one was slower
Plan versus
than our
actual
prediction.
table updated. Date, distance, time moving, 2.0 mile mile equip, average pace, average HR, cadence, and wham, Jan 4, 2.0, 205, 27.5, 30, 31 mile, 137, 136. Jan 7 8, 2.02, 2049, 2430, 12.51 mile, 141, 148. Jan 10, 1.98, 2214, 1106 mile, 136, 152. Jan 13, 2.0, 2330, 40 points, and 11, 149. Planning, next run target that fixes the mile 2 fade. Next 2 mile day, try this pacing rule. Goal, even split. Mile 1, 11:30 to 11:45. Mile 2, 11:30 to 11:45. That lands you around 23 to 23:30 without spiking early. Next prediction, 2.0 mile. Based on your last 2 runs, 22:35 to 23:40, center 23:5. If you want,
So it's predicting my next run to be 22:35 to 23:40, which is this run. And no, it's the same. These graphs are the same as January 13th. I think those were the same. It's January 10, 2022. Why did it tell me that these were the same? They weren't the same. Those were the right ones. That's so weird. 10, 13, 13. Okay, here it is. Did we just read this? I think we did. Yeah, we did that. So, okay, that's the same. I uploaded it twice. This is the next one.
Law, this is your next 2 mile class run, Friday, Jan 16, 2026, 2.3 mile. And it's your best efficiency day so far. Add diary, past record, Friday, Jan 16, 2026, distance 2.03 miles. Workout duration, 22:01. Total duration, elapsed, 22:18. Stop time, average pace, 10:50, 50 average speed, 5.5 mile per hour. Max, 7.6 mile. Calories, 299. Total, 300. Steps, 3,320 ash, 129 BPM. I can indicate 1 efficiency, my commission before. Elevation gain, 29 feet. Laps. Miles were 1, 10:16, mile 2, 11:22. Extra 0.03 miles and 0.22. Normalized to exact 2.0 miles, apples to apples. You ran 2.03 in 22:01. Scale factor equals 2.00. 2.03 equals 0.98522. Minus 2030, 221 sec. 3021 times 0.98522. 1301 sec. Which equals 2002 mile equivalent, like 2141. That's faster than your Jan 10 temp equivalent, 2214. This journal, this is the headline. You ran your fastest 2 mile equivalent while also having your lowest average HR. Jan 10 fast, 2236 BPM. Jan 16 faster, 2141 at 129 BPM. That's a huge engine efficiency signal, or conditions were dramatically easier. Either way, the combo of pace up, HR down is what we want for 100K training. Also, your pacing is improving. Jan 13 split gap, 10:19 to 12 instead of the fixed 6 fade. Jan 16 split gap, 11:22, much smaller fade. That's endurance specific progress. Plan versus actual table updated date, this time 2.0 my mind quib, average pace, average HR, cadence. And Jan 4, 2.0 into 27:05, 27:31, 137, 136. Jan 7 8, 2.02, 24:30, 141, 148. Jan 10, 1.98, 22:101, 22:40. 11, 136, 152. Jan 13, 2.42, 133, 1149. Jan 16, 2.03, 2050, 129, 150. Next prediction, your next 2-mile run. Given how sharp Jan 16 was, I'll give 2 bands again. Likely training day, 22:10 to 23:20, center, 22:45. If you repeat Jan 16 effort conditions, 21:30, 22:15. If you want to make this truly scientific, start tagging each run with 1 label before you go out. Equals.
Duplicate days. This is a new 2-mile run.
Log. This is a new 2-mile class run. Mon, Jan 19, 2026, 2-point diary. Past record, Mon, Jan 19, 2026. Distance 2.71 minutes. Workout duration moving 23:15. Total duration elapsed 23:23. Stop time 0:08. Average pace 11:32. Average speed 5.1 miles per hour. Max 8. Calories 317. Steps 3,444. Average HR 147 BPM. Max 167. Average cadence 148 SPM. Max 164. Elevation gain 30 feet. At laps, mile 1 10 to 52. Mile 2 12:05. Extra 0.2 and 0.18. Normalized to exact 2-point apples to apples. You ran 2.01 and 23:15. Scale factor 2.00 hash. 2.01 equals 0.995 minus 20 to the 30 95 sec. The 395 becomes 0.9955 or 388 sec. 2.00 mile equivalent. 23:08. Journal what this implies. Compared to Jan 16. Jan 16, 21 to 41, 2.1 equid, AVGHR 1 and 29. Jan 19, 23:08, AVGHR 1 and 47. So this one was slower and much higher HR. That usually points to one of these. Tougher conditions, cold, wind, hills.
It was cold.
Legs not fully recovered, or you pushed harder, effort up, but didn't get the speed back.
It's really
Also
cold.
good sign. Your pacing fade is smaller than earlier runs. 10:52, 12:5, only plus 113, which is more 100K friendly pacing. Prediction check from Jan 16. I predicted next 2 mile. 22:10, 23:20, center to 22:45. You hit 23:8, 2.00 mic equip, which lands inside the window. At plan versus actual table, update.
Just barely made it.
This time, 2.0 mic equip, average pace, average HR. Jan 4, 2.000, 27 by 27:05, team in 31, 137, 136. Jan 7, 8, 2.02, 24:49, 12:15, 141, 148. Jan 10, 1.98, 22:1, 4th, 11:36, 136, 152. Jan 13, 2.0, 23:30, 11:40, 133, 149. Jan 16, 2.03, 21:41, 10:29, 150. Jan 19, 2.01, 23:08, 11:47, 148. Yeah. Hash planning, next 2 mile prediction. Given you've got a fast day, Jan 16, and a harder day, Jan 19, here's the next realistic window. Predicted 2.0, 22:20, 23:30, center, 22:55. If you want to make this data more scientific, tag Jan 19 with 1 label, Nash ESP, easy, steady, push.
And then I just asked if I missed any day. Did I miss uploading any days? Did I run every 3 days? And I tried to give you every 3 days run starting with January 1st to this year, to which it said.
From what you've uploaded in this chat, you did not miss a 3-day run day through Jan 19. Here's the full sequence you provided, lined up on the every 3 days starting Jan 1 schedule. Hashtag Runday checklist, every 3 days. Jan 1, your 100K attempt split into 22.05 miles plus 9.67 miles with a break. Jan 4, 2.0905. Jan 7, recorded as Jan 7, Jan 8, 2.02 miles. Jan 10, 1.98 miles, 22.1. Jan 13, 2.00 23.32. Jan 16, 2.03 miles. 2019, 2.01, 23.15. What would be next? Jan 22nd, next run day. I haven't seen that one uploaded yet. So you're complete from Jan 1st through Jan 19 based on what you've shown me here. If you ran on Jan 22nd, send that screenshot and we'll keep the chain unbroken.
And then in response to that, I said January 22nd is next run day. I haven't seen. Well, I'm quoting what he said. I haven't seen that one yet. I haven't ran it yet. I have to run it here soon. Thank you. What you're projecting for my run times. Also, do you have run day temperature data? Before I let ChatGPT read the last one, I want to go back up to the projected times. Which one was it? Here. Was it here? I think it was. Yes, this one. So the prediction check for January 16th. ChatGPT predicted my next 2 mile at 22:10 to 23:20, centered around 22:45. The actual time that I ran was a 23:08, which was right in line with the projection. But if you remember at the very beginning, its projections were way off by like 2 minutes. That's because the average, to calculate the average, I was significantly slower from the long duration runs. So the average worked out to be higher because of my slower 19, 20, 21 minute, 21 1 mile runs. So as I give it more data and is able to have more information to calculate from, is able to give me a more concise reading. And that's what makes this scientific more than just believing in and thinking out loud. You can actually make really solid, concrete projections about what you're actually capable of with your own data. And that's very valuable when you're trying to do things and set yourself up for success. You know the kinds of things that you have the information you need to be able to make better informed decisions for what you're trying to do. And that's the whole point of why I'm doing this more than anything else. So this is the last conversation me and ChatGPT had before I actually go do my run. So
Cool. Your Jan 1st, Jan 19 chain is intact, so Jan 22nd is the next link. Projection for your Jan 20 sequel run time, 2 miles, using your recent normalized 2.0 mile equivalents. Jan 10 for 22:14, Jan 13 23:30, Jan 16 21:41, Jan 19 23:08. A good center estimate is basically the middle of that cluster, 22:40. Prediction window, most likely, steady run, 2020 center estimate, 22:40. If you decide it's a push day and you're feeling fresh, 21:50 to 22:30. Do I have run day temperature data? Not for your past runs unless you logged it, or unless your run app shows weather on the activity screen and you share it. What I can do is 1. Forecast for your upcoming run. Vancouver, WA. Due Jan 27. Chilly with times of clouds and sun. High 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Low 28 degrees Fahrenheit. If you run late night, early morning, you're probably closer to the low end. Nanner 2. Build temperature into your diary journal going forward. If you want this to become part of your scientific record, add these fields per run. Temp, degree scrap, feels like, wind, precipitation. Clothing layers, because that changes effort. If you tell me roughly what time you plan to run Jan 22nd, morning, afternoon, night, I'll translate that forecast into a tighter expected temp during the run and adjust the time prediction a bit.
so what I'm gonna do is see if I can get an accurate. Get an accurate runtime forecast for Vancouver, Washington right now. Um, Perfect. I'll try to do this every time before I go for my run. I'm gonna give ChatGPT the weather report right now. I'm gonna give it to run the weather report, and then I'll let it update, and then I'll actually go do my run, and then I'll call it good. Stinking. And then update across platforms. I added the weather forecast, which is 29 degrees Fahrenheit, and here we go. Last data point.
Nice. This screenshot gives us exact Runday temperature context for Vancouver doubly right now. Runday temperature data from your screenshot. At 12:51, clear here feels like 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind 0 mile an hour. Humidity 89%. Dew point 26. Note says scattered light rain and snow showers expected. High 37 degrees today. Hourly temp shown 29 degrees now. 27 degrees was around 4 to 6 a.m. 31 to 10 a.m. Taller 36 to 37 degrees midday afternoon. So if you run here soon, late night, early a.m., you're running in 27 to 29 degrees Florida. Action. Projection for your Jan 22nd 2-mile run adjusted to cold. Your recent 2-mile equivalent cluster is basically 22:40 to 23:10 on a normal day, with outliers fast or slower depending on effort. Cold, high 20s, usually adds a little friction, stiffer warm-up, tighter breathing, unless you do a longer warm-up. If you run soon, 27 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit as a steady run day, projected 2.0 miles, 22:45, 23:50. Center estimate, 23:15. If you run soon as a push day, projected 2.0 miles, 22:05, 23:35. Simple rule in the high 20s, assume plus 0.20 to plus 0.60 versus your normal time, unless you warm up longer. How to capture temperature data from diary journal planning. For each run, add one line. Temp feels like wind precip. You can screenshot like this, or just write 29F feels 29, wind 0. Then we can start testing a clean hypothesis like, open quote, below 32 degrees Celsius, my 2-mile time shifts by X seconds unless I add Y minutes of warm-up. Close quote. If you tell me what time you're running, roughly now, 2 a.m., morning, afternoon, I'll tighten the temp estimate to that hour and narrow the time window a bit more.
And that's it. So as always, my name is Paul Emerson, and I've given you my 2 cents. It's Runday.